This is a Danger Entertainment podcast. DangerEntertainment.net. Danger Entertainment Podcast Network.
Superman before Zack Snyder ruined him. Michael Keaton was the best Batman, while Christian Bale was just deadpan. No one remembers the other ones. Princess Leia in bikinis and Transformer Lamborghinis. Please don't let Shia LaBeouf ever act again.
Please, God, no.
Remembering tales from the crypt, back when Michael Bay wrote good scripts.
He wrote
and
scripts.
all right here is no mystery. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas.
Podcast.
Welcome to the History of Bad Ideas, episode number 177. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
No Blake.
Blake had a prior commitment.
Yes. So he will not be here this week, but do not despair. We stole a graphic novel, writer. We say his name, Jeff, because I always screw it up. Andrea?
Yes, Andrea Molinari.
Yes, who wrote The Shepherd. He will be joining us a little bit later on. We had a nice interview with him in that. About his book, his graphic novel, The Shepherd, he wrote with his son Roberto, and it was awesome. So we stole those guys. We stole them from 365 Flicks. So screw you, 365.
Yes,
and,
he's ours now.
Yeah. He's from America, anyways. So,
yeah, America.
Yeah. He is from Michigan, though, so I don't know. Home of Big Dev. But anyway, so thank you everybody for listening. After last week, the girl from Osaka. We have had a lot of new listeners, and we appreciate it the last couple months. A lot of people are listening. We don't know why, but we appreciate it. So tell a friend. Go to iTunes and give us a rating. You can follow us.
You did it wrong.
Yeah, I know. Blake is not here, so you know what? I'm ruling that.
You didn't. Did you see his? He sent a comment.
Oh, I did see the one.
He said Scab Blake has to tell us to tell a friend.
Scab Blake's not here.
And then, I was taking over the role of Scab Blake.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, do it.
Yes. So tell a friend, and then what?
Write a review on iTunes.
No, apologize.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, I had to do the bit.
We're on Bad Ideas at Twitter. Bad Ideas Podcast, we're on the History of Bad Ideas podcast on Facebook. Tumblr, I don't know, some scary thing. I don't know about it anymore. But yes, so please leave us reviews. That helps us. And tell a friend. People have been listening, so we appreciate it a lot. Moving on here. Captain Kirk, Thomas Kirk, has requested by Twitter that we talk about the Star Trek Discovery trailer. So.
Oh, he has?
Yes. Did you see the Star Trek?
Nope.
It is beautiful. It is.
So I'm in it repeatedly?
Yes, Jeff, okay. You are in it. It is very beautiful. It does not look like something that will be on CBS's pay site or whatever it is, the on-demand site that you have to pay for.
Oh, is that what it is? It's I thought it was the next movie. I
Nope.
didn't realize. Oh, it's the new TV show. Okay.
It's a new TV show. It stars Sasha from The Walking Dead. And she's the captain. I don't know. I don't get the whole Star Trek corporal thing and all that stuff.
I don't understand ranks in the military.
Here's the problem I have with Star Trek. I'm getting confused with Orville, the Seth MacFarlane one. I can't remember what's on which. So I don't know who's on who. No, it does look good. I'm not going out of my way to get to CBS, app or whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I'm not paying $10 for it. Oh, you
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Or $5. $5.
$5 $5 a month.
I think it's $5 a month. You can get everything CBS has ever made, which I don't know if that's a good thing either.
Yeah, I mean the one good thing was I always liked the show The Good Wife, and the spinoff of The Good Wife, The Good Fight.
Yes,
is also only available on. They teased us with the first episode they showed on CBS, and then the rest of it is you can get it on our app.
So it's already better than the CISO.
Already better than
network?
CISO network. Yes.
Moment of silence for the CISO network. So there you go, Captain Kirk. We talked about Discovery. It looks good.
I have to go watch it.
People were bitching online because that's what they do. They said
because that's what they do.
people go, "Oh, it's too much action for a Star Trek show. Oh, why do we have to have a black female captain? Blah blah blah." Shut the fuck up.
People were complaining about that.
Yes. Stop it, people. Just stop. Okay? Do you realize that a lot of TV shows and that were originally made in the 60s and the 50s, they didn't have minorities. You know why? Because they weren't really looked great upon. Things change. Let it go. Sorry. I hate people. I hate
It's a whole.
Who cares?
You cannot be a Star Trek fan and be opposed to inclusive-ness.
I agree.
I mean, that's what Star Trek is about.
Yes.
If your whole part of being a Star Trek fan skips the part that, we're including people of every gender and race and even, alien. It's the ultimate melting pot.
It's not like they made Captain America or they made Thor into a woman. Okay?
Exactly.
It's a new character, people.
It's not like her name is Jamie Kirk and it's the Enterprise. No, it's a new character. So we're
simmer down,
allowed
people.
to have. Okay, I'm sorry. My blood is boiling and I didn't even get into my up-downs yet.
Well, let's do an up-down. One thing we're up on this week, one thing we're down on. I will go first. My up, the Mick.
Yeah, never saw it.
With D from
Caitlin
Always Sunny.
Olsen.
We finally finished the season. Hilarious. Loved it. The last episode was not as good, but they needed to get to the next season, figure out what's going, the plot line for the next one. So I will give it. It wasn't as funny, but the episodes up to it was hilarious. I love it. Fox did not do a good job promoting it in terms of the commercials because the commercials are awful.
Yeah, you're right,
Take a drink.
because that's what I saw was the commercials and had no desire to watch the show.
It is hilarious. Or whatever her name is, I forget what her name is in the show, but she has basically made the youngest kid, the 8-year-old, into a arsonist, and he's going to be a serial killer, a cross-dressing serial killer.
Okay.
And it is hilarious. So that's my up. What's your up, Jeff?
The weather.
It is very nice weather here.
It was the
Ohio.
best day we've had in a long time. It's not too hot. It's not raining. It's not this or that. It's just a nice, beautiful day. And honestly, that's the best thing I can say about this week.
This weather report of Hobie, sponsored by Neil and Annalise from the Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks podcast. When you need just something a little creepy, take a listen.
Wow.
Speaking of weather, in the green room, because we have a green room in the Bob Studios, we have The Day After Tomorrow on.
Oh, is that what that is?
So when you're talking about weather, it's snowing in that one.
Yes.
That was a horrible film.
Oh, god awful. Take a drink.
Nobody can defend that movie. Try it. I'm down. Social media. I'll do that. Yeah.
Social
So
media.
there you go.
All right. This one, it's been getting to me, and it's petty,
Okay.
but it bothers me.
Okay.
I'm not even OCD,
Come join us. It's fun.
Anytime someone shares like pictures on Facebook or other social media sites or whatnot, why can't you take the time to make sure they're orientated properly?
I have done that before as a mistake, and that's because I'm out at the expo or the con.
Yeah, well, I understand, like, yours, it was one of those things where it was supposed to look like you're calling up the building, so you couldn't get that done exactly right. I laugh at you for it.
Yes.
But just the simple thing on, like, a reversed image where all the words are written backwards across your shirt and stuff like that.
Hey, they're dyslexic.
And even dyslexic people wouldn't. It just bothers. I'm like, just take the time to flip it. It's not difficult. If I can do it, you can do it, because I'm stupid with those things, and I can do it.
If I can do it and you can do it, we can all change.
I mean, no, I spend. Part of what I do at my job involves making sure pictures are properly, looking right.
The porn is shot perfectly.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's not that difficult to I mean, when you can't read it because it's backwards, flip it. I mean, it bothers me. It really does.
I see that.
I mean, I spend time like getting real intimate and seeing, it's like, what side of the shirt buttoned on? Because, no, I got to flip that, Is the button on the right or the left? I look at things like that, trying to get pictures right. And to watch people just haphazardly slapdash this shit up there on Facebook bugs the hell out of me.
Did you know, according to Facebook, it's end of the year, school year, there's a whole lot of kids' pictures up there at the end of the year.
Oh, God. Don't get me in on those damn preschool graduation shit. I mean, seriously, cap and gowning a 4-year-old is the stupidest thing ever.
Capping a 4-year-old is the stupidest thing ever, too. Yeah, there's a lot of pictures up there. I'm sure my wife will be putting one up. But not for preschool,
But they're not as bad as the first day of school pictures, though. Those are worse. Hate those.
I just love seeing you get angry. You get angsty.
Not angsty, just angry.
Angry.
I'm just angry right now. Not angsty, angry.
On a side note, do want to wish our friends over at Nerdly and Chapsat 365 and all of our British listeners, UK listeners, good karma and stay strong after last night. Again, people are evil and people suck.
Yeah, people suck. And it makes my petty little things even that much smaller, because, we should just be thankful that, we're...
Well, people are bitching because Ariana Grande is canceling some of her tour, and people are bitching about that. We bought her a ticket!
Oh, God, you're going to make me...
No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
You're going to make me talk about Ariana Grande, aren't you?
No, stop.
No.
But we do wish well to UK. It's a sad situation. But yeah, so we appreciate you guys staying strong, and on to brighter things. Roger Moore passed away.
Brighter things? What are you talking about?
I had no segue in that. So.
No, it's been a pretty bad week for
everything
stats and whatnot. Obviously, as probably many other places you've heard discuss the passing of Chris Cornell. Mm-hmm. That one was a tough one for me because I think... No, I'm just saying he is the main voice that I think, especially of that generation, that, reached me. His stuff meant more to me than almost any other from music. Mm-hmm. His stuff, I don't know, it just reached into my soul, and I felt at least something, maybe not what he was putting out, but I felt something enough that his music really touched me more than a lot of others. And so all this other stuff, having problems going on in his life, and it just really sucks. And that's all I got to say.
Cornell, I actually knew his music. I actually enjoyed his music. I'm not a music guy, but Soundgarden, I really do like Soundgarden.
Soundgarden's great.
They would be one of the few that I would actually see in concert. Didn't he do Temple of the Dog too?
He did Temple of the Dog.
Okay, I remember that.
A one-off project.
Yes. I remember that was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember the big CD case that it came in, the big plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Don't steal it!
But yeah, Temple of Dog, and he also did Audio Slave in the 2000s or whatnot. So
I didn't know that.
And a lot of solo stuff. He's several solo albums out.
His voice is distinctive.
It does. And part of it is, the songs are great and fit me, but the voice, everything.
And it's not the annoying voice like Eddie Vedder that I can't stand.
Okay, I like Eddie Vedder's, but Chris Cornell's is I think better. And oh man, and if you heard his rendition of "Nothing Compares to You," wow.
Thank you, Jeff. Nothing does compare to me.
Oh.
I appreciate it. This is old school. This is like first 17 episodes. I'm a little scared. Whew. I don't know what's going on here.
We're agreeing. Hey.
Yeah. Let's see here. Twitter poll of the week.
Yay.
Go to Bad Ideas Podcast, because guess what, fuckers? We got a great poll going. Yes, we do. First round, first week. Hobie's Best Video Game Console Tournament. 1970s. Here are the options. Intellivision. Coleco Telstar. Atari 2600. Magnavox Odyssey. So there is your list. Number one, in last place, with 0% of the vote, Coleco Telstar.
I don't even know what this one is.
I feel like I remember it, but I don't think I do. You try finding 4 good ones from the 70s to put on this. And the winner of this round goes on to the next round.
Yes.
There's 3-round tournament. 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
We got a lot of video game systems. Next question is, should we include portable devices like Game Boys and that?
Do we need to go to a 4th round if we do?
I don't know. I'm just asking, should we include those? They are a game console.
They are consoles, but will they bog it down too much? That's the only question
You got the Sega Game Gear, you got the Game Boy.
I have no problem. I suppose we can do one thing of portables, or maybe 2 different things of portables.
I'll check to see how many, how many good portables are. Maybe I'll include them because I don't have a problem going 16 deep or anything like that.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing a big tournament.
Yeah, like I said, it's going 3 rounds, so that would be...
We already put our second one up, but I'll get to that in a second.
Yes, I already voted.
Third place, 4% of the vote, Magnavox Odyssey. And that means more than just Captain Kirk voted for that. We had a really good turnout with these, so appreciate it, everybody.
Yes.
Let's see. And winning first place, 88% to 8%. 8%.
8% is second place.
Atari 2600 beat the Intellivision. So there you go. Atari 2600 will be moving on to the next round. Everybody get excited about that.
Woo!
Did you have the Atari 2600, Jeff?
Well, yes.
Do you like it? Did you
yeah.
like it?
Oh, God, yeah. Even as simple as, like, the most simple baseball game. They had home run. And it was great because the only way you can tell if the ball was hitting the air or on the ground was the sound it made.
Yep.
And you only had like 3 fielders, like a pitcher, an infielder, and an outfielder or something. Oh, but at the time there wasn't anything else. You couldn't
The
compare.
wood grain on the console.
Oh, that was great.
I have the Atari 2600 still.
Yeah.
It still works.
Yes.
It's not the wood grain one, it's the next version because I had to get a new one.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, my parents did not want to buy a Nintendo, so they bought me a newer version of the Atari.
Wow.
It was a lot cheaper.
I would say it was a lot cheaper, yeah.
It was mid-80s.
Wow.
Can I get a Nintendo? No, here's the Atari. You have perfectly good games. But I don't want it.
But they got better.
Just give you an idea. Next, our poll up right now has the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The NES.
Thank you. Sega Master System, the ColecoVision, and the Atari 5200. I always thought the 5200 was a piece of crap, but the 7600 was
78.
7800. Always looked good. 7800 actually did look good.
Yeah, I had a 7800.
Did you have a lot of games?
Didn't get a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to get that over a Nintendo, mainly because it was, backwards compatible and would play the 2600 games.
I do remember
which
that.
we had a lot of those.
The 5200 wouldn't, though.
No.
That was a standalone.
And so, like, when that one came out, I'm like, oh, yeah, so I got that. And I probably had maybe a dozen games for the 7800, but still had a lot of old games from the 2600.
Did the ColecoVision or the Intellivision have the paddles? Or which one had the number pad?
That was the Intellivision. It had, like, the number pad with a disc at the end.
Yes.
And
oh, my God.
I had, like, my aunt and uncle had that, and I couldn't figure it out. We tried to play baseball with it. I mean, you had to like hit the right number to the guy you wanted to control.
Is that
and then
what it
move
was?
him with and it was so
Cumbersome.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was my aunt and uncle. I knew that was them. They sent us up there the one time, and that was before they didn't have any kids at the time for a long time. And I thought it was the ColecoVision. It might have been the Intellivision. And there was like a King Kong game, and I was up there for like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to move it. There's a giant ape, and I couldn't do it. I was like, this is the most pointless thing ever. I don't think I moved one bit.
Well, I'm guessing that'll probably be the Intellivision if you couldn't figure it out, because I think
like I said,
I don't know the Coleco Telstar. If it was that,
could be the Telstar.
The ColecoVision, we had some people in the neighborhood that owned that, so I mean, I think that was a basic joystick.
It was better than Action Max, though.
Was it?
So I was raving about the Action Max. Then I decided to go online and look up this thing.
Yeah.
It was, again, for people that didn't listen last week, this thing that my parents bought at the Big Lots, the cheap store.
Closeout store.
Yeah. And basically you had VCR tapes you put in there, and you would have a gun, like a duck hunt gun, from Nintendo, and you would shoot the screen. You would also have to put this little sensor up on the TV.
Oh, that's right.
And the problem was the game did not matter how you played it, because all you were doing is basically just getting points. Because it was a VCR movie, basically.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't shoot the guy and he'd fall over dead.
You had no bearing on it. So I looked it up online. It was really bad. I actually ended up watching one night 20 minutes of the one haunted house game that I really wanted, but we never got, The Adventures of Pop Ghostly.
So you watched the storyline through it?
I watched the tape.
Wow.
It was not good. So, Action Max might be up there, though. I might put it up on the list.
Might as well.
It was not a good system. It came out in 87.
Personally, through this whole thing, I'm voting for the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy is up there. You know what? Everybody loves watching something in red. Just red.
16 Shades of Red.
How could that be a good idea? Oh, well, they did say that if they were going to go color with it, it would have jumped the price up by another $300.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I understand why you could only do a
But how did you think that was going to do
monochromatic,
well?
but-
Come on, Nintendo.
Oh, the worst part was, okay, it was their 3D version, but it had to sit on the table.
Yes.
It's not like you wore it and could move around. You leaned into it sitting on the table, but it was still on a little, very cheap stand.
It was a tripod.
A little tripod that was easy to knock over. Oh.
Did you do multiplayer with it? Like if someone else brought one over, or was it just one player?
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was or not. I'll look that up.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, because like the only thing I ever remember playing on it was the Mario Tennis.
Oh,
And
God,
I'm wondering if you could go one side on the other if you had two of them. But good luck finding two people that you knew who owned them. If you owned one, you were probably the only person that people knew who had one.
Okay, so there you go. Let's do some listener feedback.
Okay, let's do feedback.
I'm Blake. I'll do the feedback. Sorry.
Wow. No, we'll just go ahead and start with Doug.
Number one fan, Doug?
You can't give yourself a nickname?
Nope. We can give a lot of people nicknames, but you can't give yourself one. I wanted to be called the Hammer. You know why I couldn't do it?
Because you can't give yourself a nickname.
God, I miss sports night.
Doug wants to know, why did the NHL allow Canadian teams into the playoffs this year?
Tell me about it. Fucking Edmonton. Oh. And Toronto. Toronto's my team. I really thought after 3 games against the Oven Chicken and the Caps, I thought they had it. And they didn't.
As we're recording this, there's still a Canadian team alive.
Who would that be?
That would be Ottawa Senators.
Oh, that's right.
I
Pittsburgh?
think the Pittsburgh-Ottawa game is probably going on as we speak.
What is that series right now?
Pittsburgh's up 3-2.
Okay, that's right. Because they're trying to close it out. I love Pittsburgh, and I just
No, I'm torn on this because if I don't hate the team that knocks my team out, I usually cheer for.
correct.
So I'm a Columbus fan, and Pittsburgh knocked Columbus out. So now I can say if Pittsburgh wins, I can claim Columbus was the second best team. They just got knocked out in the first round because they saw the best team first. Mm-hmm. So but I also kind of like Ottawa. And as I was watching the series, I realized a lot of people who have been on my fantasy hockey team for the last several years are currently on Ottawa. I'm like, he was mine 2 years ago. He was mine last year. I have him this year. And so, like, Ottawa is like all the guys that I've had the last 5 years are all on one team now.
I love Pittsburgh. I'm okay if Ottawa wins. I'm not rooting for them, but if they do, I always root for the Canadian teams. So I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Nashville, I'm okay with because they've never been there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Nashville.
They beat the Ducks, and fuck that.
Yeah.
Thank God. You always root against Bombay. He was a fucking pompous attorney.
And I think
He
they
brought
broke
the limo on the ice.
and they broke rules.
Oh, they did.
How they got away with a lot of that stuff. Exactly. I think that breaks a rule right there.
They are the fucking Harlem Globetrotters of the NHL. Oh, let's bring a lasso.
I don't think that was quite the NHL.
Knuckle puck? Whatever. The World Hockey League, whatever it was. It was fucking ridiculous. We were an explicit podcast, just to let you know.
But I'm also kind of cheering for, the Predators and the Penguins because a friend of ours, big hockey fan, he's in our hockey league, he doesn't like either of those teams and is cheering against them.
Ah, so you root for them.
So I'm rooting for them.
I have no problem with that.
He's a Blackhawks fan or whatever, and he's angry that Predators knocked out the Blackhawks. I'm like, you should be cheering for them so you can claim you had the second best team if they win. Nope. I always root against the team that knocks my team out. Like,
can we cheer that the Red Wings didn't make it, though?
Oh, they didn't even sniff.
What have you done for me lately?
They've only been,
26 years?
26? I thought it was even longer.
Am I, Ben? Every time news comes up about the Red Wings, I kind of ignore it. So speaking of lassos, this past week was Sunday was the last show for the Ringling Barnum Brothers Circus.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus.
That's what it is. That's how much I care about the fucking circus.
You don't even know the name of it.
They said the president of the company was saying that they just couldn't compete with kids and their attention spans and they're always looking at their phones, blah blah blah.
Or the fact that the circus is dumb. It's always been dumb.
It's dated.
Yeah, I mean it's like, God, maybe even the 50s. I thought it was dated. I mean it's a 19th century concept.
Yes. And to continue to think that it would survive is kind of a dumb thing. And they said, well, they caved to the animal activists because of the elephants. And they said as soon as they got rid of the elephants, their attendance went down. And my thought was, who the fuck's going to the circus to worry about fucking or watching elephants? Like, go to the zoo.
Yeah. Well, not every place has a zoo that they can go to.
Every place has a zoo that butchers their elephants. Sorry.
We didn't butcher any elephants.
No, I'm talking the circus. Allegedly. But I'm just like, I can't stand the circus. And I was lucky that my oldest son, he was always taken by my in-laws. So I've never had to go to the circus since I was like 10. And that's great. I hate the circus. Fucking hate everything about it.
We went to something that wasn't even really the circus, but it was something that had like the circus animals at it, and I was probably like 5 or something.
That was called a pound.
No,
were they giving them away?
No. They had like elephants and whatnot,
okay.
and like I think it was like one of the what do you call it?
Smaller ones?
Smaller, minor amusement parks or something had some sort of circus-ish feature there. And I remember we went there and I'm like, wow, okay, other than the cotton candy, this thing sucks.
I'll be honest, another part of the reason why I don't like the circus is that it would always come into town on the weekend of my birthday. So I would have.
You always have to go for your birthday?
No, I didn't have to go, but there was nothing else good coming into town that weekend because they always had a monopoly of the fucking circus my birthday weekend. It was either that or the fucking rodeo. Oh, sorry. But the circus ended. It just lets everybody know.
Are there other circuses out there?
There is.
Okay.
There is a soul circus or something like that. Like a more...
From like Korea?
No. It's like a more urban circus.
Oh, that type of soul. Okay.
There's all... Korea. There's a big calling for a Korean circus.
There is no big calling for any circus, so...
There's no animals because they were eating them. Anyways,
just insult an entire country and culture. Thanks, Jason. Send all your complaints to Jason at Graphic Novice.
Yes. Like the warning says at the beginning. Anyway, so, yeah, I think there's a couple minor ones. The Shriner Circus has it.
Oh, the Shriners do have a circus, but that's...
Is that local? Is that...
No, I think that might be a traveling.
Okay.
But they're also...
Well, they always, they're like, oh, where are all these people going to go? Where are all the clowns going to go? Well, probably
clowns
in the woods.
could go away, honestly.
Probably go into the woods. But a lot of them are going to Vegas because they have that Cirque du Soleil. Yeah. So, I mean...
Well, those are actually... The acrobats or whatnot I can see going there, but the clowns...
The juggling, they said.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? That has what is taken over as the circus.
Yeah.
They've evolved.
Exactly.
That's what is the circus now. What you have in the 1910s isn't happening. And they said, the president was saying that,
we can fly now?
Well, they said, he said that they'd start doing storylines with their circus now.
Oh, yeah, that's what Cirque du Soleil does.
Yeah, and it's like, well, yes, but you're about 40 years too late because everyone else is doing it better, Barnum. Sorry. But yeah, I feel bad if the people lost their jobs. I just don't care about the circus. I have no issue with it.
I mean...
They just didn't adapt. And they're like, well, I blame the smartphones. Okay, calm down, old man. Okay, get off my lawn. I get it. Anyways, go ahead. What else we got?
Oh, did that answer Doug's question?
I hope you like it, Doug. That was a good answer.
We'll move on to Dev. Is the world ready for Dennis Rodman and Dane Cook to team back up for Simon Says 2?
Sure. I'll be fine with that.
I don't think no one's against it, but no one will pay money to see it.
Everybody's against Dane Cook. Has a comedian fallen that quick? He fell quick.
He fell quick because he, stole a bunch of people's jokes, apparently.
Allegedly.
Well, apparently, he is the poster boy. I was watching a documentary thing about comics and whatnot, and Dane Cook was pretty much the poster boy of what not to do if you're a stand-up comic, as far as stealing jokes or whatnot.
Him and Carlos Mencia.
Well,
Mencia doesn't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mencia flat out admits it, and I suppose the big thing is, there's a lot of times that, okay, maybe I didn't realize this person, had this joke or whatever, right. But when your jokes are so similar to other people's and you're made aware of it, then you need to step back and say, hey, maybe I should, not continue telling this joke because it's somebody else's joke. When you arrogantly say, screw them, it's my joke, even though
there's evidence
that says it was out long before I've ever told it.
He was good in Mr. Brooks, the Kevin Costner movie, as a serial killer.
I never saw that.
That was a good movie.
He was terrible in Employee of the Month, but that was a terrible movie.
I really wanted Employee of the Month to be good. It wasn't.
You wanted it to be good?
Yeah, because I like anything with retail and that. I think that's kind of fun, like a untapped thing, if done well.
Okay.
It wasn't done well.
No, it was done terribly.
That's why I love Superstore. Did you see the whole season of Superstore?
No. It's the whole season. There's 2 seasons.
Well, no. Did you see the last episode of this season?
Oh, my God. I 9 or 10 episodes in the first season. So, no, I haven't seen any from the second season.
Anyways, fuck you.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying.
Shut up, Jeff. We're done with this. Shut it.
Well, I hope that answers Dev's question.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Question.
Corrections.
Questions. Oh, God, I'm starting to turn into Jason and can't read these words.
You okay there?
No.
Okay.
Corrections from the Pop Culture Cafe. Hey. Tell Blake it is not Hit Girl in The Gifted. the
X-Men movie, TV show.
It is the young girlfriend of Adam in the Goldbergs. Well, Blake did correct himself last week when he did look it up and realize it wasn't Clarette's. However, didn't realize, okay, I've been watching the Goldbergs, and okay, now I know who it is.
That got renewed for 2 more years.
The Goldbergs?
Yes.
Should have. And honestly, Wendy McClendon Covey, I have to say it slowly because otherwise it just...
From Mad TV.
She was in Mad TV?
Mm-hmm. The mom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew she was from Reno 911 is where I first
That's
knew
what
her
it was,
from.
not Mad TV. My bad.
Okay.
That's my bad.
Thank you. But she should at least be nominated for an Emmy, if not winning an Emmy, for, comedic or actress in a comedy, lead actress in a comedy. Mm-hmm. She should be up there. Oh, even if you want to call her supporting, even though she's the glue that holds that show together. She's outstanding. I can't rave about how great she is in that show.
They're doing a spin-off of The Gym Teacher.
Oh, yeah?
Set in the 90s.
I might have to pass on that.
Well, another spin-off, Blackish. I guess they have the older daughter who's going off to college.
College-ish. I saw that.
ABC passed on it, but it's going to Freeform.
Oh, that's what I saw, yeah.
So it's on Freeform. As I look up and I see The Day After Tomorrow, and the only animals in this movie that are CGI, the wolves, and they're attacking. Who knew that they would be attacking? Oh, God, I fucking hate that movie. Screw you! Sorry.
So tell us how you really feel.
I hate that movie. Okay, what else we got?
From last week's draft of King of Queens.
If you have not heard, please listen to the draft of King of Queens. I think I did well. I picked the dumpster fire.
Chris wants to give us his picks.
Okay, this is from 365.
He says Doug and Carrie should be Bobby Bacala and Janice Soprano.
Who's Bobby Bacala?
I'm assuming it's Janice Soprano's his husband.
Okay.
I never watched The Sopranos, so I won't get these references.
I will find it.
Jerry.
Is Uncle John?
No, but I'm like, I suppose it's Arthur Spooner is who he's talking about, is played by
Jerry Stiller.
Okay. And I'm like, Jerry, shouldn't it be Arthur? That's what I was getting confused with. He says Jerry should be played by... Arthur should be played by Uncle Uncle June. John? Now I can't even read. John June. Uncle John June.
Yes, this is from The Sopranos.
Yes. and Deacon, who he says, I have no idea what that character's like, so Paulie Walnuts.
Okay, he was taking The Sopranos.
Yeah, Sopranos. I knew Paulie Walnuts was a Soprano character.
That was the character there I'm showing you. There you go. That would be...
okay. Okay, that guy.
Actually, it would work.
That would work.
You know what would work? Not making this show ever.
But without Kevin James, it would be better.
I was walking in the parking lot the other day, and I thought I heard Leah Remini. There was a yellow Mustang. The alarm was going off, and I literally just stood there and laughed and thought, "Oh, Leah's in the parking lot."
Well, I was at work yesterday, and outside the office window, I thought I heard Leah Remini outside yelling up at us. So I had to shut the window and tweet it to you. Dog! Anyway, continuing on about King of Queens from Brian Hackney, the gentleman who requested this draft. He says, I appreciate how Jeff drafted King of Queens. I do not appreciate Jason's condescending take on the draft. The winner clearly is, as Jeff called it, Blake. He didn't tear into shreds one of my favorite sitcoms.
That should not be anyone's favorite sitcoms. I am sorry. It is horrible. I watched a repeat of that, obviously, 2 nights ago.
Oh, I thought it was a new one.
No, it's called Kevin Can Wait.
Oh.
I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I'm like, this is awful. Patton Oswalt's in it, and he even can't be good in it. He wasn't good in it. How do you not make Patton Oswalt good?
But Blake wins by abstaining the draft.
And I am now still defeated in the draft and have never won one. I thought I did a pretty good job. If you have a team that you want us to redraft, please let us know, and you get to pick the winner if we pick your draft.
Yes. Continuing on from Pam Morris.
Pam!
She wants to know what movies we're looking forward to. I'm seriously getting a little excited to see It. I'm ready to see the new Fast and the Furious movie, too.
I'm excited to see It.
I'm excited to see It.
I think it's going to be creepy as hell, and so I'm intrigued by it.
As far as I know, they're still doing it. It's a 2-part movie
Yes.
where they're doing the childhood and then the adult.
Yes.
So they're not doing going in between. And I'm intrigued by that way of doing it. So It is high on my list. Fast and Furious, nope.
No.
I haven't seen the last 6 Fast and the Furious movies.
I think I saw the second one. I think that was the last one I saw.
I saw a scene from the second one.
The first one was good. I enjoyed the first one.
I saw the first one.
I don't know if it would hold up. I think it does not age well, like the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, well, I also don't think Paul Walker acting
up, probably
ages
not.
well or holds up.
Oh, sorry.
That isn't what I meant, but that's how it came out, so I'll accept it. But,
Anyway.
And here we go, insulting the dead. So I'm going to move on. From Jason.
Different Jason, not me.
Says, I love Gwar and have seen them multiple times in concert. Stop dissing them.
This was directed at me. I'm sorry, every time I think of Gwar, I think of Empire Records.
Yes. Hey, Mark, why don't you join the band?
They're fucking puppets, and they're bad puppets.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Skeeter do a band.
Skeeter?
Scooter, sorry.
Oh, from the Muppets?
Puppets, yes. Ralph the dog has a better singing voice.
Well, Ralph is good.
Yeah.
I had a Muppets album when I was little, him singing Time in a Bottle. It's pretty good.
I really miss the Muppets TV show that they had.
Yeah, the Muppets, the one that was on
Last
2
year?
years ago
Yeah.
or whenever it was. And
I really do miss it. It was enjoyable.
it was good. They just didn't give the time to find its footing, and
Thanks,
when
babies.
and then they had to force Kermit and Piggy back together, and then it got canceled.
Yeah.
All right,
What else?
moving on from Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Tom Hardy might be Venom. Thoughts?
He is Venom. They signed him
They signed him
for a new Venom. And now they said they might bring Carnage in. Nope. Don't bring Carnage in. Make that the sequel.
Yeah, at least yeah.
You got to build up Venom.
So your thoughts on Tom Hardy being Venom?
Actually, I think it's a great casting. I enjoy it. I think that's a very good call.
You don't have a problem with these people being one comic book character and then doing another comic
Different
book
universe.
character?
I don't have an issue with it. You know why? Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. He would just be Green Lantern. I have no issue with that.
Oh, before that he was Hannibal King in Blade.
I like Blade 3.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm
good.
saying. That's where Ryan Reynolds' first comic book.
That was the
movie.
third one, right? Yeah.
The third one, yeah.
That
Blade
they were
Trinity.
supposed to do a spin-off of with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
No, it didn't. Well, it
I
helps if
blame
you had
Triple H. He was in it.
yeah, it's Triple H's fault that the movie didn't
That's
do
right.
well.
No, I have no problem with Tom Hardy being Venom. I think he actually could do a really good job. Bob also did follow this up by saying, I forgot to put the intern forgot to put this in there. He did say though he cannot recognize Tom Hardy in any movie.
Oh, that's the benefit of Tom Hardy.
Yes.
He does, especially when he obscures his face.
He didn't even realize he was in Inception. So there you go.
Well, I first learned who Tom Hardy was because of Inception. Anything that he did before that, I certainly didn't know who he was, and he wasn't. He's not a very recognizable face, in my opinion.
I wish I couldn't see. I wish I couldn't remember Inception. Actually, I wish it was a dream.
I don't understand why you.
The dream inside a dream inside a dream. Nope, doesn't happen. Stop.
Yeah, see, you don't even get it if that's what you think the movie is about.
It's a dream. We're going into
You're
a
a
G.I.
dream.
Joe winter base thing. I don't know. Where's
This from the fucker who likes Con Air and who likes The Rock. Oh my God, we got an action sequence. So this must suck. That's what you just said. Oh, we're going to do a G.I. Joe base.
and
Isn't that what you like in your goddamn movies? Oh my God, we're going into the Rock. Oh, look, there's guns and explosions. Oh,
Welcome to the Rock.
yeah.
There you go, Andrea. Also, speaking of the Rock, a different Rock. My wife and I watched his Saturday Night Live thing. He's pretty funny on it. He always does a good job.
He's a 5-timer now?
5-timer. He premiered 17 years ago. Wow. Yeah. I feel old.
Well, yeah, I do know he was on that.
King.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember he did that one thing with Chris Kattan where they're that stupid little monkey bull creature.
But that was funny just seeing The Rock's reaction to it because he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Well, they had a skit this past week, and it was the master, it was evil scientist competition. You could have to build your most evil weapon. So the one person came up, he did a shrink ray. The next character, she came up, she did a freeze gun. The Rock comes up. I'm Roy. I'm a scientist. I made this robot. It's a child molesting robot.
That is the most evil thing.
And everybody went, what the hell is wrong with you? You can't do that. Why would you do that? He's like, but it's an evil one. Did I win? You said evil. I mean, that's only a shrink ray, and that's a freeze gun. I feel like I won.
Yeah. It's like I can find uses for good with those things. Can't find a use for good with a child molesting robot.
But it was just funny.
That sounds like a good one.
The cartoon version, everybody was the cartoon scientist, and he's like, I got a child molesting robot. And they're like, how do you make it a child molesting robot? Well, I built it as a robot, and I molested it until it starts child molesting. And my wife just sat there like, what the fuck? Like, how is that even right?
It's not. That's the point.
But I thought that was kind of funny. Like, you went with the generic, freeze ray, and I made a child molesting robot.
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, apparently, no one's coming back next year. Except for Kenan Thompson.
Valiant. He will never leave. He is the new Daryl Hammond.
He is close to taking the record.
Well, Bobby Moynihan is going to He's going to his own TV show.
Yeah, he's got a TV show,
which looks interesting. The 3 different time periods. Did you see the trailer I put up?
I didn't see the trailer, but I heard about it.
Yeah, John Larroquette's the older version of him. I think that's kind of fun.
Okay.
Anything to John Larroquette on the show or on the
on TV.
He's leaving. Valerie Bayers
or whatever.
Yeah, she's. I'm okay with that. She's enjoyable, but eh. And then there's another female that's leaving.
I forgot her name.
I know. She's not. I feel like she's leaving, and I have no issue with that because I don't think they used her enough.
She was underused.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. And then, is there someone else leaving?
I think it was those 3.
Those 3.
I'm sure someone else is, but
or they get fired. But yeah, I mean, I have no issue. I mean, I think I am going to miss Bobby Moynihan the bit worse. I like him.
Oh, he's good. Well, I'm fine if he's going on to do something else.
Yeah.
I always thought he was very underrated on the show. Like when I watch scenes, like his character always seemed to be the one that did the funny stuff in the thing, even if he was just a background character.
Yeah.
Even like the infamous David S. Pumpkins thing. It's like he was one of the dancing skeletons or whatever, and it's like just watching the expressions on his face doing his dancing skeleton. It's like that made the skit, in my opinion.
They brought David S. Pumpkins back this week.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It was, Keenan was supposed to be a rapper, and he's got 2 guest rappers on his video, and then, 10 more people come on. He's like, come on, this is too many! And then David S. Pimpkins is in it. So,
oh, that's right. Tom Hanks did make a guest appearance.
Yeah, he's running with The Rock for 2020.
I heard about that.
The sad thing is, I think they would win if they ran for president.
If Tom Hanks is on the ticket, I would put money on it. I think The Rock without Hanks would have a shot, but I don't think he'd necessarily be the favorite.
This is what the world has come to.
Oh, it has.
Trump versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I give up. I don't know what to do.
You're for Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
15 years ago, this would have been a WrestleMania main event. Now it's for president. What has happened to our world? God.
Yeah, really. I suppose Donald Trump is the first president we've had to ever been stone cold stunned.
He has been stunned. Yes. I feel like I feel like Calvin Coolidge probably had it coming if he was alive. He probably could have been stunned. I would have no issue with that. Andrew Jackson, he could have been stunned. I would have been okay with that.
FDR.
Well, yeah, you would have had to flip his chair over first.
But he's got those polio sticks.
That's right, the polio sticks could have helped. That could have helped. I don't know, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And you would have to pick him up, and that's a lot of dead weight.
Oh,
so
boy.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, he just wouldn't sell the moves at all.
No,
would
he wouldn't. He wouldn't. What about Teddy? What about Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, he'd win.
He would just shoot Austin. Lincoln, I feel like, you probably could snap his neck with it, with the stunner.
Oh, no, he's a vampire hunter. I don't think you could.
That's true. Mary Todd would kick his ass, though. Abraham, what are you doing? Dog! Abe!
So do you think Leah Remini would make a good Mary Todd?
I think Leah Remini would make any good at anything. Wife. Actress.
You got anything over there, Jay?
Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, I hope that answered Pop Culture Cafe's question. Oh, wait, we haven't even got to Pop Culture's Cafe question.
What was their question?
What will be the big summer hit? Both in story and action. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I don't think it will be that. The story was weaker than Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I don't think it'll be the number one movie of the summer. I mean, I'm kind of hoping Wonder Woman ends up being good enough to be worthy of being the number one.
I don't think it's going to, though.
But
I think Wonder Woman's going to hit 225 domestic.
Okay.
I maybe 600. I don't know. Worldwide.
Well, hell, anything that's already been out is the stupid Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah,
even though it came out in the spring, it might be the best summer movie.
Yeah. On a side note, DC, did you see that about Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
He stepped away because his daughter committed suicide, and they back in March.
Yeah.
And he thought he could just put himself into his work, he said, and he just couldn't.
No, I certainly don't wish that upon anybody.
No. So, we may mock Zack Snyder a lot, but send good karma to him, and Joss Whedon is taking over the reshoots. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, the post-production and reshoots.
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen. Oh, you could tell Joss Whedon did a lot of good with this.
Yeah, Joss Whedon saved it. That's
he did 2 scenes. It's fine.
Yeah. He did 2 scenes that pretty much directed themselves.
Yes. Did you show up? Yeah, let's go. It is interesting to see Joss Whedon start doing the DC universe.
I'm intrigued.
Do you think they give the keys over to him?
No.
For everything?
I don't think they do, but...
He does Batgirl. I'm excited about Batgirl.
Okay.
I think it's a fun character. I would much rather have Batwoman. I like her. I like her character a lot better.
I thought you liked the Cassandra Cain Batgirl.
Batwoman.
Oh, she's
Cassandra Cain is Batgirl, but they're not going to do her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. She's my favorite. She's actually one of my favorite characters of all time. I love that character. Actually, I think I got almost the whole run of that series. That's one of the few comic books I actually got the whole series run. Yeah, I like the Batwoman, the newer one lately. And so I'm intrigued to see how they do it. I'm hoping. There's now rumors that came out today that Ben Affleck might actually be stepping away from the Batman again.
When it came out today, those rumors have been around for months.
It's got to come out again that they don't think he might. There's betting lines in Vegas that he won't do it. It's like, oh my God, really?
Now, if you're Ben Affleck, do you send somebody into Vegas?
Yes.
Put down a ton of money and then just do the damn movie?
Yes. Yes. Because is he direct? No, he's not directing.
He stood down from directing. Yeah.
Oh, we'll see how Justice League does. I don't know about that. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes.
The Mummy will not be the number one movie this year.
No.
We got that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Maybe, unless we edit it ourselves.
Maybe. That's right. Oh, we got a review from Blake. He's not here, but he sent a review in for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, he finally saw it.
Saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Me likey. That was his review.
All right.
If you have a review of a movie, please let us know. You can send it to us at Bad Ideas Podcast. Give us anything you want to review. Books, movies, TV shows, anything without Kevin James. Anything. Go ahead.
You got anything else before we head into Doctor Number One?
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Our esteemed doctor wants to know, since he is in the running with me as your number one fan, why aren't you sending Doug to Avatar Land to cover the opening for Hobie?
We apologize. We actually were going to send number one fan Doug to Avatar Land. That's why he wasn't here this week. It's been pushed back to 2020. So whenever it opens, we will send him.
I think Avatar Land actually did open already.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it has.
Okay. It's opening when the next movie opens?
I don't think he's going to do that either. Because I don't think they're going to make those movies. I feel like they're just going to sit on a shelf like they should. That's going to seriously be the biggest drop-off. I cannot wait. I really can't wait. Sorry, Avatar. So, does anyone care about Avatar Land? The Disney thing?
Oh, no, nobody I've ever talked to does. I mean, people stopped caring about Avatar 8 years ago.
Number one fan Doug has 18 mortgages on his house to go to Disney every 6 months, and he doesn't even care. So, let's go to some News of the Geek.
All right. It's time for another installment of the News of the Geek.
Special News of the Geek. We do have some News of the Geek information later, some news articles. But first, we're going to do a interview we did with Andrea Molinari. I almost did it right.
Almost got it
Yes.
Almost got it out right.
As I told, I just can't say any words. No, he, with Caliber Comics and his son Roberto, they made the Shepherd graphic novel. I'm not even going to say the colon after part.
Yeah.
So it is a great graphic novel. It's going to be a series of them. And he sat down and talked to us. We stole him from 365 Flicks, so take that. And we'll have the links up on our Facebook page, too, at the History of Bad Ideas for everything. And we'll be back in a bit.
And joining us, we have Andrea Molinari. He is the co-creator and writer of the Shepherd. Now, this is the subtitle's going to kill me here. Apocatastasis.
Apocatastasis.
I was not even close.
It's a Greek word, yeah, and I had to learn how to say it myself, so it's definitely a mouthful.
All right, yeah, this is a graphic novel that you have co-wrote with your son.
Yes.
And it's out on, let's see, it's Caliber Comics.
Correct.
All right. I suppose we can start out, places where people can get this. They can order this. They can get it PDF files or...
Yeah, there's a number of different things you can do. First of all, it was carried by Diamond. So what that means is that you can order it at any comic book store. Excellent. And the code for that is November, NOV 151223. Just by giving them that code, you'd be able to go into any comic book store and order it through your local comic book store, which, by the way, I encourage people to do to support your local comic book store. Obviously, if you're a digital type, we're on Comixology, we're on Drive-Thru Comics. You can get us on Kindle. You can go to Amazon to buy the hard copy of the book itself. There are a variety of other places where you can get it, but those are, the ones that I typically recommend to people. Of course, you can go to the Caliber Comics website and order it digitally as well. So there's, a variety of different options. In fact, I should, put a plug in for people visiting the Caliber Comics website. There's a tremendous diversity of books that my publishing company carries. And puts out there. So, I think there's something for everybody. That was one of the things that really appealed to me and my son when we were looking at comic book companies to find a publisher. And we loved the fact that Caliber, had such a range of books.
And I just want to say thank you for giving us some time to talk to you, and that the 365 Chaps, 365 Flicks podcast guys, they recommended we talk to you. And they could not get enough of the book, The Shepherd. So I appreciate.
They were very kind, and we've really struck up a friendship. That's been one of the really amazing things about this whole adventure, is this ongoing relationships that we have with a number of the podcasters. We keep in touch. We get updates about their life. Things that are going on with them, and we just really hit it off with Kev and Chris. It just really was an amazing conversation, and it's always it's always powerful to have people react so favorably to the work that you do, because you were working on this thing, and you're looking at every detail, and you get to the point where you looked at it so much that you can't see the big picture anymore, because
gotcha.
you're so looking at the minutia of is this wording in this particular panel, is this is this the most concise way we can say this, are we positioning something in a way that is going to be beneficial for the story? I mean, that kind of stuff. And to finally get it out there, and to have people react so favorably to it was obviously really gratifying.
Yeah, and I think anything you do creatively, anybody, artists, podcasters, anything, like, you put it out there and you just hope at least 10 people listen to it, read it, look
Sure.
at it. And when you have people that respond to it, one, you're shocked, because you're like, how the hell, for us, it was like, how the hell did we get people to listen? And
Yeah, no, I understand that. I really do. And, especially when you are, pouring, like, The Shepherd is a particularly emotional book. And its origins are particularly, grounded in very powerful emotions, because as you know, it was grounded in a nightmare that I had about my son. And so, to write a story that is that close to the quick, it was very powerful and very draining. It's like pouring your soul out into the void, and you don't know how people are going to take it. But what we've seen is that many people have really resonated with it in very powerful ways. One of the podcasters I was talking about, that his name is Jeremy Vilmer, and his podcast is Geekish Cast, and in his particular case, he shared with us that our story deals with the death by drug overdose of the main character's son, and that had actually happened to him.
oh, geez.
And then he was talking about the impact that the book had on him, and how closely it mirrored the emotions and the experiences that he went through as a human being, and that was really intense to hear him share that. So one of the things that you have as an author is to have readers coming up to you and sharing the way that they interact with the story. Because when you write the story, it means something to you. But then when you put it out there in a certain way, you're letting go of the story, and other people will make of it what they will. And you have to come to some kind of peace about that, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're doing is you're giving the story away.
Yep.
And by doing that, it's going to mean different things for different people. It's kind of like, like songs, like as you're, especially when you're young, different songs take on different significance for different moments. Like this, the obvious thing is, you listen to a song, and this is now emotional and meaningful song, that it's, your song with your girlfriend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It might mean something totally different to somebody else, but it's those kinds of things is, the singers and the bands didn't, I'm sure, have that in mind necessarily when they were putting that out there. It meant something else to them as they were, putting it down on paper and creating it. But they're giving it away to somebody else now, and it's going to mean something else.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you just saying that reminds me of, I was just reading stuff about the unfortunate death of Chris Cornell.
Yes.
And how he was talking about, he never wanted to specifically say what any of his songs were about, because there's something different to him than they are to everybody else who listens to him.
Right.
And, so everybody will have their own interpretations and the different meanings. So, you got to do that as a creative artist, to know that, everyone has a different perspective, so it's going to come from different angles. And so, yeah.
I also think that there's something, I think that that's important to recognize as an artist, because I'm of the mind that not all art is conscious, if that makes any sense. So in other words, as a writer or a painter or a sculptor or a musician, you have an idea in mind and you try to get it out there as best you can. And most of the time, what you have in mind and what actually gets out there are not necessarily the same thing. But that is what you consciously intend, but the human person is much more than just the sum total of what our conscious thoughts are. That there's all kind of these unconscious motivations and kind of deep-seated things, and that they also, kind of play a role in the creative process. And so there may be more getting out there than you necessarily intended. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just to say that, art isn't always about, I have, this fine control over every single word, every single syllable. You can wish for that, but it's not necessarily the case, that there's a lot more of that unconscious character to it. So,
and let's get the listeners a little bit updated too.
Sure.
Now we will not give spoilers out. I'll do my best because I do have some questions for you on this.
Sure.
And then at the end,
yes, jump to the end.
So the shepherd, like I said, it is a Professor Lawrence Miller's teenage son Val overdoses at a party. He passes away. Professor Lawrence, he has trouble obviously coping with his son's death as anybody would. He also has a wife and he has a daughter and another son too, younger.
Correct.
So he has trouble coping with this, and he's a theologian, which we'll get to in a second. You are a theologian as well, correct?
Yes.
And I was trying to find some clues from the book when I was reading and seeing how much came from your life in that with that. So I was kind of interested in that. But Lawrence thought he felt like Val was lost and he never transferred to the other side completely.
Correct.
So his idea is basically he's so struck with grief and everything that's coming down on him that he basically decides that he needs to go help Val. That was his job, is to get him over to the other side. So, little spoiler, he does commit suicide and goes over to, heaven or whatever the next realm is. And the whole journey is basically him trying to look for Val to help him, to usher him to the next side, and also take some vengeance on the drug dealers and dealers that basically got his son to overdose.
Correct.
So,
That's it. Yeah, that's it right there. That's the excellent summary of the story there. I think it's important, and I think you laid your finger on it, is that he loses it. I mean, one of the things I try to show in that story is that, he has a breakdown. And, I mean, his imagining that his son is calling out to him, it turns out to be, in fact, the case. But it's, this is not, he even kind of recognizes in retrospect that there's nothing rational about what I did, but what's rattling around in his head, and I try to show it in the story, is that because he's a theologian and he's studied this certain body of literature, he's familiar with the ancient stories. Particularly, you find them in the Greek tradition, but you find them in plenty of other traditions. In fact, the oldest piece of Western literature that survived is, known as the Gilgamesh epic popularly. And it's the story of, two friends, two kind of like superheroes, so to speak, one of whom dies, and the other one tries to follow him into the afterlife to try to rescue him in the afterlife. And so that's kind of like rattling around in his head as a professor, this idea of, and that is throughout these myths, this idea of going into the afterlife and rescuing a loved one and bringing them back from the brink. Of course, like I said, he's, this doesn't happen in real life, so he's basically having a breakdown, particularly related to his grief.
And the whole time, when he's thinking about, committing suicide and that, I kept thinking, you have other kids and a wife to take care of. Why are you doing this? But I think it just shows how far he's kind of, gone off the edge of not being able to cope with it, with his son's death. And, his son, as he kind of became overpowered, and you can see Lawrence, when he's beating up the first junkie in the mobile home park and that, he looks at him and he just thinks he's, basically a waste. But Lawrence has basically become, I felt like he became a junkie to just his he became obsessed with getting to see his son again. And I felt
Yes.
like that kind of paralleled it very well. I thought you did a good job with that.
Yeah, I think that that's very much part of it too. Is that he's not in a healthy place. He's a mess, and it's going to take a while. I mean, one of the things my son and I talk about often is that we really want these characters to be growing, learning characters, if you allow me that term. There's a run of comics that has always been kind of like influential for me. They were, meaningful to me. There's a run where it's typically known as like the hard traveling heroes, Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
Yes.
And they go through
Great
this. I think
series.
it's Denny O'Neil and oh God, I
will find that for you because that is one of my favorite series because I love the Green Arrow.
I'm pretty sure it's Denny O'Neil and God, I'm forgetting. I feel humiliated that I'm forgetting the name of the artist, but it's a really important series. And why I bring it up is that it's a series of stories where these two heroes kind of come down to the grassroots level and deal with crime and social problems at a very kind of like ordinary level. Instead of fighting these cosmic battles against invading aliens and superpowered beings and that sort of stuff, they deal with racism. They deal with, poverty. They deal with, oppressive structures in society. And, these characters kind of have their eyes opened as part of this, series, this relatively short run that these, in there. And I've always found that to be beautiful, to see characters that could kind of like learn and in some way be a cipher for the reader themselves, that the reader can have their eyes opened as they, vicariously in the story are confronting these social issues of the given day, so that's something that we kind of wanted to be able to do with the characters, within the Shepherd. So
that was also Neil Adams.
Neil Adams. Thank you. And, I should know this because I regularly see him at cons, and I've actually talked to him several times, which is, I always have a hard time knowing what to say because it's like you meet somebody who's a hero of yours who literally, his drawings of Batman, for example, are literally, like when I close my eyes and imagine Batman or Green Arrow, it's a Neil Adams Batman or Green Arrow because that was the one that I grew up with in the 70s, so that's, yeah, so I'm humiliated that I couldn't remember the names of one of my own heroes. I'm apparently getting senile. So there it is.
We've been there, done that.
Just to give listeners too, when Lawrence he crosses over, he meets his father,
Correct.
And his father gives him what he thinks is a necklace, and it becomes basically a staff. It's the staff of will, correct?
The Staff of Truth.
Truth.
Staff
Sorry,
of Truth, yeah.
And basically, that's what he uses to take out his aggression on the drug dealers and everybody. But it drains him as well.
Right. And that's really important. His father actually warns him about that because what I'm trying to get at there, of course, is this idea that truth can be used, and his father tells him this, it can be used as a scalpel to heal or a weapon to hurt somebody. And we see this all the time. I mean, we see people who say, well, I'm going to just tell them like it is, but they don't care the way that they deliver that. They just leave somebody in a heap. They tell them the truth, but they say it in the most unloving and cruel manner possible so that truth ends up crushing that person. And conversely, if the truth is delivered in a loving and kind and merciful way, it can actually have a tremendous force for healing in a person's life. Even though it may be hard to hear, it can at the same time bring a lot of good. And so his father kind of warns him about that, but of course he's not in a position to really hear what his father's saying.
Is it speaks bad to my character that I really just wanted him to take vengeance on everybody?
You know what? I don't think it does, and because I think that that's an incredibly human reaction. I think that, when we have had somebody that we love or ourselves that has been cruelly hurt by somebody else, and especially if we feel that was done in a way that is not just accidental, that it was reflective of true malice. Like they literally don't care, that they're willing to just run another person over and just hurt them without any regard for them whatsoever. I think it's very natural for us to have that desire for vengeance. However, I think what is really important is that the mature human being is able to kind of like process those feelings and, approach them in a more rational manner to say, okay, let's say I take vengeance, and I do, I retaliate and I do this to these people, what are the consequences of that? Who else is going to be hurt? Because obviously that person also has people that love them. So if I hurt that other person, then I'm in some way my anger, my vengeance that strikes that person also has a ripple effect on the people around them that care for that person. So there really is a social consequence to each act of violence.
And I thought when Lawrence was, he pretty much got, I guess you could call it a cloak. Is his, super. He's not a superhero, but his
super suit.
Yeah, his super shoot. When he reminded me of DC's The Spectre, and I thought that was, I kind of drew some parallels to. Not Hal Jordan Spectre, please God, no. But I saw a little bit of that in there, which is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that. And I really did like the staff as a weapon and as a healing mechanism too. Did you have influence on his look, or was that basically up to the artist? Because I saw that there was 2 artists on this book. There was originally you had to pick. And the one had to step away because he had a family emergency, a family illness with his kid.
Right.
And I did like how you put that in the book that we got, because he worked on it, and I like that you did that.
Well, thank you. I had a lot of affection for him, and I had tremendous respect. His name is Josh Barker, and ironically, I've just been in contact with him recently, and he's going to do some promotional art for me. So you're going to actually see more of him doing the Shepherd. So I'm really excited about that. Getting at your original question with his, outfit is, in a lot of ways, his outfit is just his ordinary professorial kind of garb. The only thing that really is, like a costume, so to speak, is the hood. And the hood to me is more symbolic of, his that he's dead, that there's something shrouded. It's something, it's an element to his look that, leaves him kind of in the shadows, like the true face is in the shadows. And that, he wants it that way because there's been so much pain that he suffered that he doesn't want to show you who he is anymore. So there's an element of hiding in that hood, behind the hood, or inside kind of in that hood. But if you look at the way that he's dressed, he's wearing, the trench coat that he wore in life. He's wearing the tie, the dress pants, all those things that he wore, as a professor. They're all still there because that part of him still kind of is resonating. It's still kind of like simmering under the surface. And you'll see as the stories go on, the professor in him starts to make a rebirth. Because the professor in him, if you look at some of the early elements of the story, notice like the night that his son dies, what is he doing? Think back to what he's doing.
Yeah, he's teaching and he's meeting with his
teaching. And then the reason why he's not available at the time that all this is going down is because he's spending extra time with his students, mentoring them, So he is a very committed professor. He's very concerned about his students and also about his family. I mean, that's what, what breaks him, what makes him unable to cope with the death of his son is that, he really carries this sense of failure, that he failed his son. And a lot of that I think is very real. Like if you read what I wrote in there, I think there's a lot of myself very much laid bare because, when you go to grad school, like my son, the one who had the nightmare about, his name is Roberto, my co-writer. He was, when he was born, the first several years of his life, I was writing my dissertation. I was working in my doctorate program. And like he was born in 93, I graduated in 96. So the first 3 years of his life, all he knew was his dad working on that. In fact, there's a little wrinkle I left in the story there. I put in the story where when he was a baby, he's like less than 2 years old, and my son is toddling around telling people that I can't play with you right now because I've got to go write my dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that as a 2-year-old. And the reason why he's saying that is because he's heard his father say this to him repeatedly, you know? And so there's this element that I think that is there not only for myself, but also I think with a lot of fathers is what it takes to make a living in this world, to try to make it in your career and then take care of your family. You have this guilt to say, you know, am I being a good enough father? Am I there for my family? Am I present? You know, because a lot of times you work all these hours, and then when you finally do get home, you're spent. You know, you're just worn out, and you know they just want your time and attention, and it's like you just don't have anything left to give, and so sometimes you can be, you know, kind of short with them, and in time you start reflecting on that and just saying, you know, have I lost my way? You know, am I, you know? And it's funny, it's the weirdest thing because you're doing all the stuff you're doing. Theoretically, you're doing it, you know, for your family, and yet at the same time, your family is kind of like in some ways suffering from, you know, what it is taking from you, what it's taking out of you, you know. So it's kind of a weird setting, and so I include a lot of that in him grappling with the death of his son, because that sense of regret, you know, of when you lose somebody that you love, you know, you go over the time that you had with them and you say, you know, how much of this time did I waste over things that, you know, in the grand scheme of things now don't seem very important, you know?
Yeah, and I have that issue now because I have a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old.
Wow.
Yeah, tell me
That's
about
amazing. That's great. I mean, I really do. I think that's awesome.
But
I think being a parent is one of the best things you can do in your life, you know?
But you are right, though. I mean, it is a struggle because you don't know if you're spending enough time with them. And I'm OCD, and so my wife will tell me at times that you know, because I'm, you know, my kids want to play in that, and I'm playing with them, and then back in my mind I got about 1,000 things going on, like I need to clean the house, I need to cut the grass, I need to do this, I need to do that, and my wife tells me all the time, you need to just stop thinking about it, which isn't easy to do.
Right.
But it's the same thing, and then you got work and everything else, and I think it is a struggle for everybody. You know, I think if you know, you don't do enough, if you spend a lot of time with them, you know, then you feel guilty that you're not providing for them as well. And it's vice versa. I think you're absolutely right. You know, it's the best of intentions, but I don't think you can win either way.
No, I don't think you do. I suspect that this is something that parents, you know, men and women have gone through, you know, have thought through for a long time, you know, wrestled with these things, because it just is always complicated to try to, you know, to make a living. And it's very easy, I think, especially in our society, to kind of lose your way and focus on things that, you know, that cannot be, that aren't really as important as we make them out to be, I guess is the best way to put it. I had the kind of good fortune, as you know from my last name, Molinari, it will surprise you, I'm sure, to hear that I'm of Italian descent. My dad was from Italy, and he came over when he was 27. And a few years ago, I had the first opportunity to actually go to Italy. And it was interesting, and I think this is true when we go to visit other cultures. We get a chance to see how other people live their lives in a culture that's not like ours. And it gives us a really unique opportunity to step back and say, you know, they're very different. Their approach is very different than ours. You know, do they have something here? I mean, this is, you know, and what I really came away with is that in a lot of ways, the Italians live a life that is a lot saner than ours. I mean, they don't have all the stuff and the bells and whistles that we have, but they kind of like get each other better than we do. Like, just to give you an example, like, you know, we were in granted, it was a smaller town, you know, the particular small town is the town of Rapallo, which is south of Genoa and on the Italian Riviera. And, you know, at the end of the day, people came out of their houses and were congregating in the gelaterias and the bars and the, you know, the places along the street, and sitting on the park benches and just hanging out with each other. you know. And I think all too often, like in the United States, it's like we work such long hours that when we're finally done with work, we kind of hibernate in our respective houses, because it's like we've had so much of everybody else, we just don't want any more, you know.
Yeah.
It's like we just, you know, it's me and the television, you know, and this beer, you know, and that's it, kind of thing. And my take from them was that I think that they live in relationship to each other perhaps better than we do. And you don't get the feeling like they're living to work, you know. They work so that they can live, not the other way around. And we kind of put our whole focus, our identity is on that job. And I just think it's a rabbit hole that you can, you know, it can be a big mistake.
I feel like you know, people have said, you know, social media is the greatest invention and the worst invention. And it's true. You can connect to anybody, which is the greatest thing in the world. And even, you know, not to be on a downer, but I mean, even yesterday,
Sure.
with Manchester and that, you know, people were able to find each other because of that.
Right.
You know, after the bombing and that. And, you know, but then on the other side, the flip side of it, the worst part is that, you know, everybody is, you know, braver behind a computer screen. Nobody interacts in America as much. You know, you can go to a restaurant, and it always cracks me up. Like, you know, you have a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. It doesn't matter. They can be at dinner, and they're both on their phones at the same time. And it boggles my mind.
No, and that's exactly it. You know, like, and that even that whole dinner thing is like, you know, how much do we really eat together anymore? Mm-hmm. You know, and when we do, it's always just this, you know, it's like an airplane touching down on a runway and then just coming, you know, going right back up into the air, kind of thing. And in Italy, you know, it was not uncommon to spend several hours at a dinner, you know, and really enjoy it. I was just like, oh, so this is like what people hanging out, you know, spending time together, and it was like good, you know. I was like, wow, this is, you know, this is an ironic, crazy idea, you know, people sitting down, enjoying a meal together, and then, I don't know, talking, you know.
It's a good idea if you like your family.
So that's what this is, you know. So, but I think it's good to have that opportunity, you know. And like I said, it's not just with Italy, but with other cultures in general, whatever culture, to have that opportunity to have a critique of our own culture. And we've got plenty of good things going in our culture too. I mean, this is not, you know, bash our culture thing, but it's just to say, you know, that it's important for us to look at our lives in a more critical manner, and to say, you know, are we living our lives the best way that we could? You know, are we just buying into kind of this naked capitalism that says, oh, you need the X, Y, Z. You know, you have all these possessions, you have literally no time for them because all you do is work, you know. But by God, I've got a boat, you know, I'm never in it, but I've got one. You know, it's kind of a bizarre way of living.
And it came across well in the book too with Lawrence, in that I think you conveyed it very well, that he didn't realize that until he lost something obviously important to him, and then he just basically went down the rabbit hole, like you said.
Yeah.
The one question is a couple of things here before we wrap up. This is the first of what you're hoping is a series, correct?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, it's much more than a hope. We already have. The second book is called The Shepherd, The Path of Souls.
Okay.
And my goal is to have that. My son and I are intending to have that published this fall.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's been written for a long time, and I think we have it's about a 175-page novel, which, just to put in perspective, the first novel, Apokatastasis, is about 119, 120 pages. So this is a substantially bigger piece of work. And we've got about 31, 32 pages left to do.
And I saw that you had some of that up on your Facebook page too, the Shepherd Facebook page.
Yes, we do. We do share that, and that's probably the best. That's the best place to keep up with us. I mean, we do have an Instagram, which we use all the time. We do have Tumblr. We do have Twitter that we use. We use all those as well. But the Facebook is nice because it's kind of like in lieu of a web page. And it's easier to tie in with people, and that's nice. So, but we are sharing, art from that second novel. And then my son actually, told me, stand aside, Dad, I've got the third story. And he's already written the third story, which is called The Shepherd, The Tether.
Okay.
And so In fact, I'm in the process of actually doing research for the fourth book. So we definitely, we're intending to see where this goes.
Now, will you have Lawrence and his pet monster or wolf in every single one, or could you do something like? Because when I was reading this, I was thinking that you could do something similar to the Crow series, that you could have somebody different in that role.
Yeah, one of the things my son and I have actually talked about is to say, this role of the shepherd, the one who carries this staff, that we think he's not the first one to carry the staff. That in fact, this staff has existed for all time, and that there have been different people who have carried it at different times. And it's a choice to carry it. This is not something that you're required to do. It's a role that you can take on. And then you can set it down when you're ready, when your soul's ready to move on, because the shepherd exists in a middle ground called the seam. And this is just to, give you a little bit of background on this. I'm very, obviously, as you said to the listeners, my background is in theology, but I've always been very fascinated by otherworldly journeys. So, for example, a big motivating and influencing story for me is, of course, the Dante's Divine Comedy. And there are three parts to that story. And, of course, the most famous part is the Inferno, hell. But there are two other parts to it. And one is called Paradisio, obviously paradise. And then the third one is Purgatorio. And the purgatory, or the middle ground, is a place that is described where souls that are not evil souls, but are flawed, and they go through this process of kind of a purification, and that is exactly what the shepherd is all about. That's what that Greek term apokatastasis is all about. It actually means restoration, and what we're doing with the shepherd is we are telling stories about souls that are flawed and what it takes to come to restoration for those souls. And so we're, and the beauty of it is, as my son and I joke about, is that, any soul that has ever lived in any time, in any culture, is fair game.
Okay.
So we can literally tell stories about Vikings. We can tell stories about, samurai. We can tell stories about Zulu. We can tell stories about the Amazon. There's really no limit. And you're going to see some of this in the next story in the Path of Souls, because we actually have 4 characters that we encounter, 4 souls that we deal with in this particular story. And the basics of this story is that it actually was motivated because of my wife. My wife works for the VA, and what she does is she works with counseling. She counsels victims of post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, and traumatic brain injury. Jesus. And so I'm hearing these stories. She doesn't tell me the names of these people, but she tells me the basics of the stories. And you're hearing this all the time. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if in the afterlife there was a place for soldiers that are suffering from post-traumatic stress? In other words, the soldiers and veterans that come back from combat, they are suffering, many of them suffering from post-traumatic stress. But what about those soldiers or Marines that fell in combat? Would their souls experience post-traumatic stress? And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this. So that's what we're doing, is we're telling stories of 4 different souls, and we're imagining this place that we're referring to as if it were like a hospital in the afterlife for souls like this. And there are 4 soldiers from different time periods and cultures. We have a U.S. Marine who died in Fallujah 2004. We have a Confederate soldier who died at the Battle of Fredericksburg in 1862. We have a French Napoleonic soldier who died in Jaffa, in what is close to modern day Tel Aviv in Israel. And then the 4th is a Wendat Huron Indian who died in the late 1640s fighting the Iroquois.
But you never
So-
get the War of 1812. They never get recognized.
Actually, if you've ever read about that war, that's a single-handedly embarrassing war. I mean, it really is. There's just really nothing really positive to say about that war. You know, it's like I don't know if you read about this. I'm from Michigan originally. Okay?
Yeah.
So I know quite a bit about that war and read, plenty about it. And, like we had to defend Detroit, and we're going to defend Detroit, and we gave up without firing a shot. We surrendered to sit. I'm like, really? Really? Did you, that's the best you could do? I mean, that's embarrassing. Come on.
Do you feel though that maybe you should have given up Detroit? I mean, I feel like that's not a bad thing.
Oh man, that was just that's tough. So and then of course we invade Canada. And I'm like, really? We invaded Canada.
They
Really?
deserved
Okay.
it.
Yeah. What did they do to deserve that, punishment? And then we fight read the Battle of Quebec. I think that the American forces lose more to cold weather than they do to actual battle casualties. I mean, like, this is not these. That's why most people don't know about that war, because it's a cross between boring and embarrassing.
And I feel like we've suffered because of that, because then the Detroit Red Wings came along. So I feel like it's punishment.
There you go. I like to think that we're suffering with the Lions. I mean, I'm being a lifelong Lions fan. I feel like I've atoned for whatever sins we committed. We've suffered for.
Yeah, I did say Lions fans pretty much have suffered for a long time.
Oh God. I always tell people it's like there's only, true Lions fans, because anybody who is a fair weather fan, there's been so little fair weather that, we're not like the Patriots, it's like everybody's a Patriots fan. It's like
terrible
yeah,
fans. Terrible.
How difficult is that? It's like
so easy when you win every year to cheer for
exactly.
someone.
It's like, that Brady guy's terrible. How many championships has he won?
You'll be happy to know that my wife actually became a Detroit fan, a Lions fan, when you guys went 0-16.
Oh God.
And she's like, I feel really bad for them. And
let me tell you something. That was just like the worst. I wouldn't wish that on, like, we hate the Bears, okay? We hate the Bears. And I wouldn't wish that on Bears fans. Some days I might, but I wouldn't wish it even on them, And it was just bad. And I can tell you this, is that the years that Tampa Bay, that the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, and then when the Saints won the Super Bowl, that was actually two of the most wonderful Super Bowls ever for me, because I was like, if those two teams could win the Super Bowl, maybe before I die, we'll see the Lions win one. What the heck, if the Aints and the Yuccaneers can win, and I was legitimately happy. I live down here in Florida now, and I've got lots of Buccaneer fans around me, and so I was happy for them. If they're not playing the Lions, I'm more than happy to cheer for them. So,
well, our co-host who's not here this week, Blake, he is a big Browns fan. He grew up there.
Oh, God help him.
Yeah. And
I just feel so bad for them. It's like when they're going to draft, we all know where they draft. Okay? And it's like, you just know, it's like, okay, what car wreck are we going to get this year? It's like, And of course, they never seem to get that franchise quarterback. It's like at a certain point, the NFL should just step in and just say, okay, we're going to give you a franchise quarterback because, well, it's embarrassing for all of us.
Okay, Tom Brady, you're now a Brown.
Number one.
Sorry about your luck. We're actually giving you Matthew Stafford. Damn it!
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's why, and what cracks me up, Matthew Stafford is head and shoulders the best quarterback the Lions have had ever.
Joey Harrington?
Just is, absolutely. Yeah, the best. And it's not exactly a deep pool, I mean, the likes of Andre Ware and Rodney Peete and Joey Harrington, and there's a litany that goes beyond that too. So I'm happy to have the guy, and yet it's interesting that you listen to Lions fans and it's like the way they tell it's like, oh, this guy's a stiff and we hate him, and I'm like, what are you talking about? When this man retires, we have literally no chance. It's like it never happened. The man led us from behind. We won 8 games last year, come from behind. I mean, seriously. It's like...
But
And we won 9 games total, I want you to know. Okay. So that means I was just like, at a certain point, I was like, is there any chance that we could win a game going away? Is there any hope of this ever happening? You know, because you're going through this cardiac arrest every, it's just too emotional. It's just too emotional.
But in all fairness, Joey Harrington knew how to play a piano.
Yes, he did. And he was very talented. I mean, I liked him too. You know what? I support whoever takes snaps under center as far as I'm concerned.
Unless it's Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, we're going to let you go. I appreciate you
right.
coming on our show, sir. And when you get the second one out, please keep us in mind. We would love to have you back on it.
You got it.
Our Facebook page, History of Bad Ideas podcast, will have links to your book as well tomorrow and the rest of the week in that.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem. So people can go there and take a look at it and order it. I loved it. I really did. I thought it was very well done. It was different than anything I was expecting. I didn't do any research on it in terms before I read the graphic novel because I didn't want to know anything about it. I didn't want to know any summary of it or anything. And,
I think that's a good way to go, to be honest with you. It's just kind of let the art speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we already summarized it for everybody.
There you go. Yeah. One thing I can tell your listeners is if they're cautious, if they go to the Facebook page for The Shepherd, and this is at Caliber Comics ENT, The Shepherd at Caliber Comics ENT on Facebook, there's a Cafe Press store right at the top of the page, but right underneath that, there's a place where you can actually download issue 1 for free.
Okay.
So,
excellent.
yeah, it's in a Dropbox link. So, I tell people that all the time. You can read the first issue and see if it hits you, and if you do, then, go for it.
And if that first issue doesn't hit you, that's you pretty much have no soul because that was that was a heavy one.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that this is a labor of love, and you can tell it's deeply rooted in who you are.
Thanks, I appreciate that. It's very true. We're really trying to write stories that are meaningful stories. Despite my background as a theologian, I'm not trying to preach to you, but I do want to write a story
certainly
that
doesn't come
resonates
across
in your heart. And that's something that's important because there are lots of stories out there, but I'd like to hope that I can write a story that will stick with you, that you'll remember, and that if I can do that, then that's really all you could ask for as a writer.
The one thing is, too, I do ask this of all of our guests. If you ever do an audiobook, just keep me in mind. I do master impressions.
Cool.
So just keep that in mind. You can ask Kevin Chris from 365. I am pretty good at it. I do me and Michael Caine.
They'll certainly recommend his impressions.
Cool. Yeah, I love audiobooks. In fact, I'm listening to a Tom Clancy. I've never actually read a Tom Clancy book, but I have listened to over a dozen of his books, and I think he's a brilliant writer. I mean, I continue to be amazed at the talent that man had.
I'll be honest, you do not want me doing audiobooks. But thank you, I appreciate it. And we will have everything up on our Facebook page. And the book, again, is The Shepherd. I'm not going to try to pronounce that second part. But yeah, go to our Facebook page and we will have it. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
And again, everything can be on our Facebook page. You can get that. And look him up on Amazon, Comicology, and everything else.
Yes, I want to thank Andre again. It was a fun and enjoyable time to discuss his comic and pretty much some philosophies of life.
Yeah, I'd like to have him back. Talk about that. Let's see here. One other thing going on. The Mummy. It's arriving June 9th. Are you excited, Jeff?
I've never been excited for any Mummy movie. I mean, if there's no Abbott and Costello meeting him, I don't know how excited I am.
How great would that be if Tom Cruise's character was Abbott? Let's see here. So it opens June 9th, much to nobody's care. The best part is Universal has said that it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, and now it's back to being a shared universe.
Oh.
Something they were already tried with limited success in Dracula Untold. So, much like the X-Men films, nobody knows what's connected. So, good job, guys. Well done. So, they said that their shared universe is officially called Dark Universe.
That sounds like something that would be in Star Trek.
That was a Sci-Fi Channel show. I don't know. Johnny Depp is going to be playing the Invisible Man in future
How do we
installments.
know?
I like how you have the most charismatic guy and he's going to be invisible. That's a smart move. Let's see. Javier Bardem. Actually, they were both in Pirates that comes out this week.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be joining him as Frankenstein's monster.
But not in the same movie.
No, he will be playing the monster in the upcoming Bride of Frankenstein remake. Yippee. The only new film that has been announced at this moment. So we have a shared universe. One movie. With the Mummy. We don't know if Dracula Untold is it. They never officially announced
No,
it.
but, I mean, it's more than one movie. I mean, we got Black Bride of Frankenstein and Invisible Man. That's 2 movies.
Invisible Man they did not announce as a movie. He was maybe in something.
Oh. He might be in the Invisible Man in someone else's movie. That's all.
He's not going to be an Amber Heard. Anyways, they got broke up. Anyways,
Is that his wife?
that was his wife.
Oh.
Johnny Depp's wife.
Oh.
They didn't sign a prenup. Anyways, let's see.
See, the last I knew on Johnny Depp's love life, he was with Winona Ryder.
Oh, God. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but he got a tattoo that said Winona Forever.
Ah, that didn't work out.
Did you see how he changed it?
No.
He changed Winona to Wino.
Wino forever?
Wino Forever is what his tattoo says. Apparently, he does like wine.
Oh, well, good for him. Anyways, Universal even rolled out a website for their organization, Prodigium, Prodigium.
Oh, no, you're going to make me read this?
IUM, Prodigium, run by Henry Jekyll, a.k.a. played by Russell Crowe. That actually suits Russell Crowe. He is a very Jekyll and Hyde character in real life.
I could see him pulling that off.
That's supposed to be stringing this all together. The site has a brief video that hints at other monsters, including Dracula and the Gill Man, who is from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Dracula's from Creature from
No,
the
the Gill Man.
Oh!
The Gill Man. Let's see here. Both who have seemed to have gone up against Jekyll's team and lost. It's not clear how Cruise's character, Nick Morton, fits in here.
Not Bud Abbott.
No. And furthermore, that Prodigium does not seem to be a very nice bunch of people, according to Universal's press release. And I quote.
I think it's Prodigium.
Okay, well, until they come on the show.
It's
Yes. Led by the
enigmatic
and brilliant Dr. Henry Jekyll,
Prodigium.
mission is to track, study, and when necessary, destroy evil embodied in the form of monsters in our world. Working against the aegis of any government,
Aegis.
and with practices concealed by millennial of secrecy,
Prodigium.
protects the public from knowledge of the evil that exists just beyond the thin membrane of civilized society. And it will go to any length to contain it. Here's the issue.
So these are the people protecting us from the monsters? Is that what the...
But then they're going to have the monsters help them out.
Isn't that Hellboy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I feel like Hellboy's going to do it a whole lot better. And David Hyde Pierce. Anyway.
Just the voice of.
That's right. He was the Gill Man. He was the fish. Oh my God. This is going to be bad, right? This is not going to work out. And I love the Universal monsters. I just don't see this working.
You're the one who loves the Universal monsters.
There's a couple of us. I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know how you're going to put that into it. Let's see. I don't understand how, is Dracula in this? Is Dracula Untold in this?
Dracula Untold will not be in this, but Dracula will be.
Okay. I don't think it bodes well that they only announced Bride of Frankenstein. Wouldn't you think they would make the Frankenstein movie first?
They did. It was called I, Frankenstein.
That's not included either.
Oh!
Aaron Eckhart is not in this world.
I think they didn't want to do an origin story.
Hey, I'll give them credit. Good for them. Good for them. We're going right to the wedding.
There we go.
Because everybody loves weddings.
Who doesn't?
Doesn't love weddings. Let's see here. They did say, or the one rumor coming out is that, we've talked about this before, Tom Cruise is actually going to be playing Van Helsing. So, I will say they did
I hope to God that he isn't Van Helsing.
He could die.
I'd rather him be Bud Abbott.
Bud Abbott versus the Mummy. I have an issue that, well, the one positive is, though, they did get some big names for it. They got Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem, they got Tom Cruise, and Russell Crowe.
And Russell Crowe.
That's a nice...
Yeah.
That's a nice legion. of them. I have no issue with that.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
The
League?
of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, hopefully Sean Connery edits this too.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be. Fuck you, Sean.
Welcome to the Rock.
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Don't be stealing my spotlight. Get over there. Go away. Go away, Billy the Kid. Tom Sawyer, whatever his name is. You're like Billy the Kid. Who else is there? Invisible Man? I'll give you a visible penis to the face. The penis is mightier than the sword.
You got a penis mightier?
Anyways, welcome to the Rock. I feel like it always has to end on that.
Hey, I will give you credit on that. Mm-hmm. That was not falling into any of your other... Exactly. I mean, you actually stayed in character. You didn't slip into your Cajun or your Michael Caine. I'll give you complete credit on that one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Anyways, so that is your News of the Geek. It's exciting. The Mummy! Yay!
Yay.
Hey, Hobie listeners. We're on September 22nd through 24th. If anything, if you're in Cincinnati, you should probably come to the Cincinnati Comic Expo at the Duke Energy Center. It's a fun-filled weekend with lots and lots of fellow geeks and nerds. Here's some of the stars coming. Julian Glover from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, from Game of Thrones. He plays the Heatmeister, I think. We also have Greg Capullo, the artist from Batman. We got John Ratzenberger, Cliff Clavin himself, and in every other Pixar films. Wish I should probably lead with that instead of the Cliff Clavin, because no one has seen that in years. We also have Adam Hughes, who was on Wonder Woman. And we got Carrie Yules from The Princess Bride, Robin Hood, Men in Tights, and many other films. So, if you're in the Cincinnati area, September 22nd through the 24th, 2017, go to the CincinnatiComicExpo.com, get your tickets, and we will see you at the expo. Just before we get to the top 5, Jeff!
Yes.
September 22nd through the 24th, we're going to be at the expo.
Yes, the Cincinnati Comic Expo, to be specific. At the Duke Energy Center in downtown Cincinnati.
Yes, they announced some new people. Dirk Manning is going to be there from Nightmare World. He is an artist, and he was there last year.
All right.
Wallace Shawn, inconceivable!
Inconceivable!
He also played Rex
in
on
Toy Story.
The All Yeah Comics lineup continues to grow.
You just glossed right over the best that Wallace Shawn ever did.
What's that?
My Dinner with Andre.
Moving on. Let's see here. The All Yeah Comics company, is having Kurt Wood. He's coming back to it. Scoot McMahon will be joining the All Yeah Comics team as well.
All right.
Everybody loves the name Scoot. So there you go. And Deb's buddy, Jay Foskett, he will be there too. We actually interviewed him last year.
You sound so disappointed. Oh, Dev's buddy.
Yeah. No, he's great. We actually interviewed him last year, and he was on our show. So there he is. Art Baltazar, he does the Archie comics. So
you're getting some autographs.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take my shirt off. This is Archie's ab.
Get him to sign your ab?
Yeah, ab. Damn it. And then you also do Scott Steiner and Greg Capullo.
Did you say Scott Steiner?
Snyder.
Oh, Snyder.
Let me tell you, Rick.
Big Papa Pump.
Yeah. I didn't do steroids. No, I didn't. Speaking of that, Jinder Mahal beat the Randy Orton for the belt this week.
Yeah, whatever that means.
He was jobbing to most wrestlers in under 3 minutes literally 2 months ago. And now he's the heavyweight champion.
Why not?
You know what? They took a chance. They're going to do it. They did the same thing with JBL years ago, and it paid off great. You know what?
Never liked JBL.
But you know what? People bitch that WWE never gives new people a chance.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, you can make the argument others deserve it, like Cesaro. I agree. But at least they're doing something different. You don't want Randy Orton as champ? We'll give you somebody different.
There you go.
So
Exactly.
it was
What he
kind of
said.
It was kind of funny that Randy Orton during the Backlash pay-per-view, you can always tell when he's in the I don't give a fuck because I'm going to lose the belt mode, which he's done 13 other times.
That's how many times he lost the belt?
He's been a 13-time champion. Every time I'm like, he's been a 12-time loser. Jinder Mahal's buddies came out to help him, and they're like little bit like cruiserweight guys.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton flipped them onto the tables, the announce tables, and I think he literally killed one of them. Like they did a flip and landed almost on their head, and the camera caught Randy Orton, and he just gave the smirk like, "Oh shit!" He just didn't care. He just didn't care.
What? Me?
But it was pretty funny. It's a funny scene. But you could just tell, like, Randy Orton's like, I'm going to lose the belt to this jerk. Fuck it. I just don't care. Good for you. Way to be classy.
All right, enough wrestling talk.
Sorry, top 5.
What is our top 5 this week?
Top 5 worst film adaptations of literary
characters.
Could be comic books. And according to listener
everybody in listener feedback, it was all comic book characters.
Yes. So congratulations.
Yes. It's like worst page to screen character adaptation, and boom, everyone immediately jumped on comics.
Which I was trying to take away the comics, and I still had a lot. So what's your number 5, Jeff?
My number 5 is Dr. Doom.
You're a motherfucker. That's my number 1.
All right.
That didn't take long.
Nope, on the board.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of overlap here.
I don't.
Number 1. There.
I'll let you know that's my only comic book one.
Oh, well, no, we're not going to have
And that's why he was at my number 5. I think he's the worst comic book adaptation of a character in both sets of movies that featured him.
He is so awesome in the comics.
Yes.
And powerful. And then you take him to the movies.
And yeah, and they make him a businessman and a blogger. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here, people?
That gets taken out by a manhole cover and turns ice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom, that's all. Yeah, I agree. He was my number 1. Fucking Fantastic Four. My number 5 is a tie. I hobied it.
All right.
I did a lot of hobies.
A couple.
Number 5, just because I really don't care about the character, but now I'm kind of liking him because he's been in the last couple Marvel movies. Howard the Duck. That was a horrible adaptation in the 80s.
I can see that.
Damn George Lucas. Let's see here. And that tied it because it was another creature, another animal. The Cat in the Hat.
It's half of my number 4.
Yes! That is the most scariest looking thing I've ever seen. And
terrible.
I saw that movie in theaters as a preview. Did I watch that with you?
Must have. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right, because Spencer Breslin is in that or something?
Yes. Annoying.
Oh, it was terrible.
Mike Myers was the cat.
Yeah.
Oh.
But by all means, it got so far away from the original character. I mean, it's like, okay, it's a mischievous cat. That's as close as you got.
But the book isn't even that great.
Oh, no, it's not. But I'm talking about...
Yeah.
I mean, my list is how when you got these characters and then how they are just done so wrong that they're not even the same character.
It was creepy.
It was.
My number 4, I had tied. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
All of them?
Yep, from the movie. Fuck you, Sean Connery. And tied with Street Fighter, the movie. All the characters. Nope.
No, really? I mean, how do you... Was there a Street Fighter book?
No. Oh, shit. Comic book. There's a comic book.
Was
the comic
there?
book was good, yes.
Okay.
The graphic novels were good. Son of a bitch, I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Damn it. It was a video game. Damn it.
That's why I'm like, what the literary? I don't remember reading about the Street Fighter.
There was a comic book that actually got good reviews.
Was it before the movie?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, until proven otherwise.
So League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is my number 4.
All right. My number 4, I had a tie. Hobie did. I had the Cat in the Hat tied with the Grinch.
I was going to say the Grinch.
Jim Carrey's Grinch, terrible.
That's creepy, too.
Especially
That's
since
a good
it wasn't even needed to be done since we've got the perfect Grinch already out there.
They're remaking the Grinch movie again.
Are you serious?
That's what the rumor is.
Why?
I don't know.
Maybe they want to spare us from having to watch the Jim Carrey version anymore.
I think it's because Dr. Seuss's estate is going, hey, we can make money. Yeah, the Cat and the Grinch was a bad movie, and people love it.
I don't know how.
I don't. It's like the Polar Express. I don't get how this is a classic cartoon or a classic kids film.
Yeah. Oh, the film was terrible. I don't even think the book was that good though either. So
I'm not even a big Grinch fan of the cartoon.
Oh, I am. That's one of the best Christmas.
I do like
ones
how
out
they're
there.
all.
Well, the thing is, I just always thought the Grinch was the hero of the story, and then they ruined that at the end. But other than that,
I did like all of them in Whoville singing around the tree. I thought that was cute.
all the Who's down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
What's your number 3?
My number 3, it's pretty much the entire movie, but the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, damn it! That was a good one. I should have put that on. That was a horrible movie.
And I mean, like,
You're talking the cartoon.
the cartoon. I understand, they're going to throw in like the only good part of the movie I thought was the gargoyles. Okay, it's Disney. They're going to throw in those type of
Jason
characters.
Alexander.
But I mean, it's like, okay, one, you shouldn't be doing Hunchback of Notre Dame as a kid's story anyway. And it's like, okay, we'll take this, deaf mute hunchback and have him sing songs.
Esmeralda, though.
Yeah. She perfectly right in line with the. No, wait, maybe not.
Because the Hunchback is not that great of a nice of a character in the book either.
No, the Hunchback isn't the sympathetic.
stalks her.
Yeah, kidnaps her.
Yes.
I mean, okay, but it's
I think the one review I still remember that 20 years later is, Esmeralda becomes friends with the Hunchback, but doesn't matter. I can't fall in love with you because you're still grotesque. Here's my other love interest.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Thanks,
but I still want the pretty boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that, Disney.
But we could be friends.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I would have thrown
Quasimodo, the friend zone.
Yeah, and then I did think the ending to that was pretty graphic too. Like when they killed the bad guy, the count. Is it
Frollo or whatever?
When they throw him off.
Again, another character who they just took any nuance out of the character from the book and just turned him into
Jafar.
Complete evil, whatever.
They turned him into Jafar.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It was a lesser known version. A worse version. Let's see here. My number 3, Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh.
The mark with the mouth. Let's just close up his mouth.
Yeah, let's sew his mouth shut.
That's a good
and
call.
And give him powers he doesn't own.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Wonderful. That is a wonderful idea.
That was a terrible one. Yeah, that one didn't occur to me because they rescued him.
They did.
So it didn't occur to me to do that one. That
as good as
might have tied my Doctor Doom pick.
So that was
as
it.
bad of a rendition that was.
Number 2 is worse. 2's worst.
What's your number 2?
And it's because I love this character a lot. Bane in Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go with Bane from
Bane
Batman
and The Dark Knight Rises is not great.
It's still not Bane.
It's not Bane. But, especially since I didn't have his sidekicks. I loved his sidekick.
But at least he's not in insults to...
Batman and Robin is so bad with Bane, and they took the character and they made him skinny at the end when they took the tubes out of him.
Well, because he couldn't pump up his...
Oh, my God. Oh, yes.
Jeep Swenson.
Yep, I was going to say the actor that played him, the big version, he passed away. He was a wrestler, too.
Yeah, he died shortly after the movie, didn't he?
Well, I probably would, too, if I was in that piece of shit. He's like, I can't do this anymore. My heart just gave out. It was like Queen Amidala. He just gave up. He gave up.
Died from a broken heart.
He saw the movie. I'm going to be Bane. I'm going to be in every sequel. Oh, I saw it. I'm dying of a broken heart. So Bane is my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the Sheriff of Nottingham in the Disney cartoon Robin Hood.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? Like Robin Hood was a book. How dare you?
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, but that Sheriff of Nottingham was the big, stupid, bumbling guy. He wasn't even a good villain. You need a good villain.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Great version of Sheriff.
I'll give you that. That's why I had to go with the...
But why a spoon, cousin? Okay, now I just
more.
I felt it sounded like Jimmy Stewart there.
You kind of did, yeah.
Why a spoon, cousin? Jimmy Stewart as the sheriff's cousin.
But just the big, stupid... what's he, a wolf or something?
Yeah, he's a wolf.
Oh,
How dare you, sir? That is one of the best Disney movies
it's a
ever.
terrible, terrible, terrible Disney
You're a
movie.
terrible Disney movie.
Am I? Sweet.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, you're a terrible Disney movie. Anyways, what else?
my
What's your
number
number one?
My number one is Hades in Disney's Hercules.
Kind of figured that was coming.
Well, you should have figured it was coming. He's one of the worst adaptations of a character ever. Let's go ahead and take, like, centuries of beautiful literature and piss it down the drain just so we can have a terrible villain.
I don't think he was a terrible villain. It's James Woods.
Yeah, they got a good person to do it, but it was written so bad. It's not Hades. Whatever you want to say, it's not Hades.
No, it is because
not.
it was named Hades.
Yeah, but it's...
No, it was Hades.
No. Well, then again, yeah, I suppose maybe you're right, since Hercules isn't even his Greek name, so...
I'll tell you one thing. Everything I learned about Greek culture was from that movie.
Yeah, and that's what really bothers the fuck out of me, is that's what people think it is. Terrible movie. Terrible Disneyfication.
I get so fed up with that movie every single time.
It was terrible.
It was awesome.
It was not good.
It actually wasn't good.
And I didn't even go Tarzan route.
Don't start with Tarzan.
It was not good.
I love Tarzan the cartoon.
Yeah, you're wrong, but...
But my daughter has seen that movie 1,000 times.
Oh my God, how can you listen to that much Phil Collins?
Oh, how can you not?
Easily turn it off.
Son of man. Son of man.
I'll be in you, deep inside you.
Amber Heard.
This is the song that won me the Oscar.
My number one is Dr. Doom. Can we agree on an honorable mention? John Smith in Pocahontas, the cartoon.
Yeah, it wasn't really literature.
But
So, I mean, it's a history book, I suppose.
could be on Shot of History with Dev.
Yeah. I mean, Pocahontas really wanted to make my list, except it wasn't necessarily based off of a literary character.
John Smith. He loves the Indians. He's fine. So on Cinema Sins, which is a great YouTube thing, they did Everything Wrong with Pocahontas, the cartoon.
Oh boy.
And
How many sins did that get? Probably a record.
well, at first he started digging them for historical accuracy. He's like, I can't even fucking do this anymore. There's too many. And then he's like, yes, John Smith, he's a lovely guy. And then he starts singing about the savages. He's like, oh, wait, never mind.
Savages, barely even human.
And then the next one was, how the fuck did this get past Disney, this song? Savages.
Yeah, well, that's not the one that got him in trouble. The Aladdin song is the one that got him
Yes.
in trouble, that they had to change the words to that.
Pocahontas, they should have never have made that cartoon. Ever. Ever.
But then you got the beautiful...
Spirit of the Four Seasons.
I don't even know what that was.
That was the one Pocahontas sings. There's leaves.
The Colors of the
flying around.
Wind?
Yeah, that's it.
I was about to say, you got the beautiful...
Visual?
what's her name?
You play Pocahontas?
No, the who sang the song.
Oh, I don't know.
Former Miss America.
Celine Dion?
Yeah, Celine Dion was a former Miss
Joan
America.
Collins?
Joan Collins? Where are you going with this? Vanessa Williams.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. I was so close.
You were almost there.
Samson, I was way off. Yeah, that is a horrible cartoon. They should have never made it. I want to hear what Desmond Hassing has to say about Pocahontas.
Oh, Lord.
Let's see here. Top 5 listener picks from Matthew McDonald, the Waffle Man. Number 5, Garfield. That's a good one. That is a good one.
I'll give him that.
After I saw that, I was like, I should have added that. I don't want copy, though. That was my...
Yeah, Garfield was a good pick.
He is incorrect on 4, 3, 2, and 1. He
Nope.
said all of Riverdale. Never a movie. Riverdale's a TV show. Suck it! Riverdale's awesome. Check out my abs. I love you, Archie. Archie abs. Jughead's helmet. Wait a minute, that's all right. Anyways, let's see here.
Who else got anything?
We got Dev from Shot of History. Number 5, Frank Moses in Red. I like the movie Red. I don't know the book enough.
Yeah, I don't know the book to say if it
I'm
was...
going to say sure.
Yeah, I'll agree with him. Till proven wrong.
He had the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. I don't have an issue with the Mandarin. It is different. I will give you that.
It's not the Mandarin, but it kind of wasn't the Mandarin.
Correct.
But yeah, I understand what he's saying, though. When you hype that the Mandarin's going to be the villain and that's what you get, you're going to bend a few, hurt a few.
There was talk that
noses
he
there.
might be in a future.
The real Mandarin.
Yeah, in Avengers, the one after Thanos and that. So, or he could be making a cameo in the next one. So, of course, they have like 87 people in it. So, and Yondu's in it, and they're like Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker was seen on
the
set.
and I'm like, first off, they better not bring him back because that's going to just kill it. Second, it's going to be a flashback if anything.
No,
it's the time.
No, they I read the story. They flat out brought him on set only because there was rumors going around that he was going to die in the movie in Guardians of the Galaxy because he wasn't in the movie. They brought him on set just so people would stop talking about the rumors that he was going to die, even though he was.
It's a beautiful ending to Guardians. I really like that ending.
He was all right.
I liked it. But even if they have Yondu in it, who cares? You have the time gem. So what? You could do that if you really need. I mean, if you need to.
Which one's the time gem? I mean, I'm trying to figure out who's got.
Who's got that one?
Oh, that's Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Doctor Strange has the time
Come
gem.
to bargain.
Dormammu,
I
come
love
to
that
bargain.
ending. It's so clever. It was different than any other.
I think Blake hated it.
Yeah. Well, Blake.
Time travel.
Whiplash, Iron Man 2, and the entire cast of Wanted. From Wanted, he had that.
I never read the book, so I can't.
Whiplash, I will agree. I like Mickey Rourke looked cool.
Yeah.
But it was not good.
Nah.
Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. And Doctor Doom from all the Fantastic Four movies is his number 2. Hey, Dev. Number 1, all of Suicide Squad in Suicide Squad.
Can't argue that.
And Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Can't argue that.
I thought about that one. I go back and forth. It was a horrible, version.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Venom fan anyway, so I'm like, I don't care.
I think that's the biggest thing. And one reason I tried to get away from being a heavily comic book list is because there's just been so many different versions of said people throughout comics that, not anyone is a definitive one, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, what's Tom Hardy's version going to be? We don't know.
I mean, the reason I threw Doctor Doom in there is because there's, different versions of Doctor Doom. None of them are close to the disasters they've given us.
Let's see here. He had honorable mention. Any attempt to do Dark Phoenix, Green Goblin, Halle Berry, Catwoman, Shaq... I'm sorry. Any attempt to do Dark Phoenix. That is correct.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. That is a horrible version. Please do not do it again, but they're going to.
I would like to see it done right. I just can't see, based on what we saw from the Apocalypse movie, that a Dark Phoenix movie, if they follow that same vein, will be
But
good.
we'll be there. We'll be there.
We'll be there opening night. They got us.
No, they don't, guys. I just go for a train wreck now.
Yeah,
for
but
X-Men
they still
movies.
got you going.
Yeah.
That's the...
Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was not good.
Halle Berry, Catwoman. No, Daz. That's Dev. Sorry,
Dev.
that is not Catwoman from the comics. No.
Yeah.
It's a whole history of Catwomen. Remember? Come on.
No, I'm serious. I wouldn't put Halle Berry's Catwoman on there because Halle Berry's Catwoman isn't from any book anywhere.
That is true. It's her own version.
It was an own version. The only similarity is the name Catwoman.
Yep. Shaq as John Henry Arns. Oh yes.
Go Steel.
I actually like Steel in the comic books. This was not a good version of Steel. The Hoff as Nick Fury. Everybody loves Hoff as him. That was bad.
That was bad. But Hoff kind of redeemed himself in Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right. And Nick Cage as Ghost Rider.
I suppose
was too old.
Nick Cage is terrible, but I never liked Ghost Rider, so Nick Cage is ruining a character who isn't that good to begin with.
Did you like Ghost Rider on S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, I'll go
that
take it
far.
or leave it.
I'm just not a fan of the whole process or mystery behind Ghost Rider. So,
Sean Kuhn from Pittsburgh Nerd.
thank you, Sean.
Division titles, baby. The Mandarin from Iron Man 3 was number 5. Mr. Freeze from the movie that shall not be named. Nice to see you, Sean. You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Stone Age. The Ice Age.
Oh my God! Did you really say the Stone
I didn't mean that. The Ice Age.
The Stone Age killed the dinosaurs. Oh Lord!
Nice to see you. I want everybody to sing my song. Come on. 3, Venom from Spider-Man 3. 2, Doctor Doom from any Fantastic Four movie. And Catwoman from Catwoman. Talked about some issues. Jared Mills. Welcome, Jared. Venom. Goddamn Venom. Oh, number 5. He goes, Bullseye and Daredevil from Ben Affleck's Daredevil. How dare you, sir?
It was terrible.
No, it wasn't. Bullseye was awesome. They just needed to give him a
Bullseye and Daredevil were both bad.
You're bad.
I am.
Number 4, Ang Lee's Hulk. Yes. I like his style, like he was trying to make it as a comic book.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. He missed, but I liked the direction he was trying to go.
There's nothing going on in that movie, though. It was not good.
Oh, the whole Nick Nolte as Bruce Banner's father storyline, I think, is what really killed it.
Look, I'm electric at the end.
Yeah.
Boogaloo. Everything in Batman and Robin. How dare you? A Batman credit card.
Yeah, even the Bat credit card was a terrible character.
Yeah, how do you join that? I mean, how does he get a Batman credit card? Where does that bill go?
Yeah, it goes to the Batcave.
Or does it go straight to the city? Does the city own it?
Oh, good question.
City pay it?
Does the city pay it? Or does he just pay it online coming out of...
That was too early. That was 97. That wasn't online.
They couldn't pay online then?
He probably could, but not much. I don't think it was...
Wire transfers from the Cayman Islands?
Well, my issue is this, though. If that credit card was to the city, then the city is basically as Batman in his back pocket. There's some conflict of interest there. They would not be breaking up the Gotham police, the corporate, what do you call it, the corruption. I think there's an issue there.
Were they breaking up the corruption in
I don't know.
Batman and Robin?
If you watch Gotham, they're breaking up corruption every week.
Well, yeah, but that's not from Batman and Robin.
They all blur together. Number 2, Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man. I don't think it ages well.
No. I'll say with the time it came out, I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
And certainly when you're going to compare it to what we've already seen from Tom Holland, there isn't a comparison.
Correct. He plays Nathan Drake in the new Uncharted movie.
I saw that.
He's playing a younger version.
Yeah, a real young version.
Nathan Fillion would have been better.
As an older version,
Yeah.
I think he would be terrible as a young version.
Probably so. Did you see in Guardians, they cut it out, but he was, Nathan Fillion was on a poster in the background.
Like, really Nathan Fillion?
Yes.
Or the character he had from Guardians?
No, he's playing a character of Wonder Man. It was a new movie coming out.
Wonder Man movie?
No, he plays the guy that becomes Wonder Man.
Yeah,
Simon
Pegg. Yeah, Simon Pegg. Yeah,
but no, it's whatever movie starring Simon
Williams.
Whatever.
Williams?
It might be Williams. But I thought, how great would that be if he's Wonder Man? That would be awesome.
It would be.
Number 1 from Jared Miller. Previous mention, Venom. Goddamn Venom. So, there is your top 5. And we have a bad idea this week? None.
Well, I because of all the bad things going around in the world, I just want to send out some good, happy vibes. So,
no bad idea this week.
Well, the bad idea, people who refuse to flip their pictures so words are backwards in them.
That's number 9,605.
Okay.
Be nice to each other. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
From Walking Dead to Talking Heads, from comic books to TV sets, there's a history of not so bad. There's the history. It's the history of bad, so bad. The history of bad, it's bad. The history of bad ideas. Podcast.
You were listening to Hobie.